Hi, it's Laurie and welcome back to Eco Earth. So today it's time to talk about plastic pollution. Plastic pollution has long been a problem facing mostly our oceans but also our planet in general. The biggest thing regarding plastic is that much of it is single use and so it's thrown away straight away. Products all over the world come wrapped in plastic and made from plastic and are made from multiple types of plastic. Now, over 300 million tonnes of plastic is made every single year and most of it from fossil fuels. It's also non-biodegradable. The issue is that it's very durable and so when it ends up somewhere it shouldn't be, it can remain there for many, many years, causing major problems for our ocean and its inhabitants. It can be estimated that there are over 5 trillion bits of plastic in the ocean as a whole, and the poor management of this waste leads to the animals in our ocean and other habitats being put at risk because the waste has ended up somewhere that it shouldn't be. So what does it do? Now mainly it is the cause of much animal entanglement and death within the ocean when marine life gets itself caught in nets, bottles, bags and can rings. It's also when they ingest this plastic into their digestive systems. An example of this is turtles, who will mistake plastic bags for jellyfish as it's one of their main food and they can't tell the difference. When they do this though, and they have so much plastic within their stomachs, it can have really big effects on their health and well-being and sometimes it can lead to death. It can rupture their intestines, it can cause internal bleeding and it can really affect their buoyancy too. Also, it can mean that they feel so full from all the plastic in their stomachs that they just stop looking for food. When this happens, it can lead to starvation and they potentially starve to death. Now, although this isn't a nice thing to think about, it is one of the harsh truths of what we are doing to our oceans and our animals because of our plastic consumption. Now, it's not just smaller animals that are affected by this. It can be whales, sharks, the biggest animals are taking in this plastic and it's causing health problems in all of them and sometimes death. When these whales have been beached, which happens more frequently these days, it means that sometimes they do autopsies and in their stomach it's just full of plastic. So when whales are taking in the water, which is giving them their plankton, there's plastic going in there as well and their stomachs are full of plastic, which isn't really something that should even be in the ocean in the first place, and especially not in the animal stomachs. Now, plastic in its most minute form, it can end up in the human food chain too. I mean, we probably take in a lot of plastic a day, but we don't know it because it's in the food, it's in the water that we drink, and so we don't see it. But for them, this is big pieces of plastic and they can't avoid it. They're faced with it every single day and there's not really much they can do to stop themselves from taking it in. Chemicals also present in the plastic can have harmful effects on the water. It can cause changes in animal behaviour and anatomy if the chemicals do something to where the animals are actually living and their habitats, and it can cause problems amongst that just based on the plastic that is actually in the ocean and the chemicals they put in it to make it certain colours, its durability and just the way it looks and stuff like that. So the problem is plastic is having a major effect on the ocean and it's up to us to try and reduce that amount and reduce how we're manufacturing stuff to try and actually stop this thing happening and affecting our animals, because it is going to end up being a massive problem where it's too late for us to do anything and half our animals are gone just down to plastic and they're dying for no reason. They're ended up in rehabilitation centres for no reason, and there is stuff we can do. So how can we help? Now, the good news is, as an individual, you can do loads to help with your plastic consumption and reduce it. So the first thing I would say is make wiser choices at the store. Do you need to buy things that are wrapped in plastic? Can you buy loose fruit and veg instead and save yourself money and reduce your food waste by not buying in bulk stuff that you might actually not need? Also looking at alternatives, can you buy things in cardboard that can be recycled more easily than some plastics? The second thing would be to reduce the use of single plastics altogether. Now, this includes bottles and food packaging. A lot of food that we buy is wrapped in plastic, so other alternatives, can you make lunch instead of buying it at the store where you might not be able to recycle all the packaging that it comes in? Bottles are a big problem because people will buy these every single day from the shops for their drinks, which is a big consumer thing, but is easier to buy a reusable bottle. They're not expensive and fill it up every day. In the long run, it will actually save you money and you won't have to keep spending out on drinks because you'll already have one with you and you're saving the environment at the same time. A big thing that was in the news very recently is plastic straws. Now, I know they've been banned in some places and people have been making really big efforts to not use them. Fast food chains, for example, use paper straws now, and I know they can go soggy in your drinks and it's not ideal, but there are alternatives. You can buy your own straws, or some paper straws do come with a special lining that is still biodegradable. That means they won't go soggy in your drinks. Also, it's about littering. People litter all the time, and I find plenty of stuff on the floor. When I go to the parks or on walks in areas by me, I do take a bag and a litter picker because I like to pick it up and make sure that there's as little on the floor as possible so it doesn't affect our wildlife, their habitats, and doesn't blow anywhere near water, including canals, the ocean, or anything like that. It's also about losing the need for quick purchases. Is the ways that you can make things at home without actually having to buy them as a quick grab and go. And I know we do live busy lifestyles and people don't always have time, but just think about it and see if you can change your lifestyle, even in the smallest way, to try and benefit the planet. Now, we could also talk about the larger corporations, as it's effectively their waste managing that needs to be looked at. So are they disposing of it properly? Is it ending up somewhere it shouldn't be because the waste management rules aren't actually meeting the needs of how much waste they've got? This also comes in for underdeveloped countries, and obviously they don't have the funds sometimes or the education to know what they're actually supposed to get rid of and what they're supposed to do with it. So it's all about education and funds to help them reduce their waste and get rid of it better so it doesn't keep ending up in the oceans. And there's plenty of organisations that will help to do that. New innovation is going to be a big thing in stopping this plastic consumption, and it's manufacturing and changing legislations to ban certain bits of plastic, mainly single use, and just manufacturing better so that a lot of the stuff that makes it to our stores that we can then purchase isn't actually wrapped in plastic, made from plastic, or have any plastic in it at all. So over the next few years, I hope we will be making some changes in that, and that bigger businesses and legislations can come in and really try and combat this, because like I've said in previous videos, we don't actually have long to sort this out, and it's now or never basically. How do we save our oceans and our planet in general? So, as always, thanks for watching and do your bit to save our planet.